What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the wrong side of the tracks. I'm Ryan Rogers. Thank you for joining me on another episode. So grateful for anyone tuning back in who found the first episode exciting. Now you're tuning back into episode 2. Thank you. And anyone who is finding this for the first time, go check out the first episode if you want. But thank you as well. Yeah. So that being said, guys, I have yeah, again, grateful if I didn't say that. Thank you so much. If you find this interesting, guys, help me out. Like, share to anybody you would think find it interesting. Comment below. Let me know all these little things at the beginning, what I can do better, what I should add, get rid of. Help me out, guys. I would love it. Help me help the algorithm. All right, guys, that being said, I'm going no notes today. Today's episode is going to be about my life, my story, and there's many reasons I wanted to do this episode in particular. Um, is as ADHD as my brain is, and from my human design, I'm a manifesting generator. We'll get into all that later, but I get these ideas from just everywhere, just bombardment. Maybe you guys have heard Joe Rogan talk about how he thinks ideas are kind of like their own life forms. Here's what I can say. I don't know if they're their own life forms or if ideas come in from somewhere else, spirits. We'll talk about all this and my thoughts on it later, but they are free from us. They don't just come from us. They are out there in the collective and they do want to come into existence. And yeah, that being said, guys, I wanted to take this second episode so many directions: astral projection, esoteric knowledge, just you name it. I had so many ideas I wanted to do, and then I had to like stop and, reel it back in a little and um, notice something that you guys really don't know a whole lot about me, really nothing about me for that matter. I've been putting videos out since the start of COVID. I have a dumb little YouTube channel I haven't done anything to in almost 6 years now, called Stack and Cheese. You guys want to go check it out? There's like 8 or 9 videos on there. I've done several social medias: Instagrams, Facebooks, TikToks, you name it. So I've been trying to do this for a while. That being said, I highly doubt any of you have seen or heard my stuff. So this is another attempt at, exposing myself, laying myself out and open. And I believe anybody who is trying to do this, like, start a podcast, be a voice out there in the internet world, the airwaves, I think they should expose themselves as far as who they are, what they believe, why they believe, what they think, where they came from, just who they are. If you're going to dedicate um, several hours of your day listening to somebody, embodying what they have to say, digesting it, whether you believe it or not, or you just want to hear the guests they have on that episode or not, you should really know about that person, why they're bringing the guests that they do. Yeah, you name it, guys. Like, I think we should know more about the people we are consuming a lot of hours about. And that being said, it should be very easy for anyone in my position on this end of it to tell you their story. Yes, there's going to be more and more that comes out as far as in an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. I'm not going to be able to take you from birth to 36 years, but you will get a good idea of who I am and where I come from, and why I'm doing the things I do, and why I stand on the positions I stand on. So yeah, that being said, I think my story episode is critical for anybody wanting to do this. And just a little side note, guys, before I get too carried away, you might notice these videos are, they're pretty raw. I am not going to edit or do anything. Yes, on the first one, you'll see a little fade to black at the beginning and end. That's literally just blocking like me hitting play and stop on the record button. But I have a photography, videography business. I'm a licensed drone pilot. I shoot a lot of real estate photography, so I know how to edit videos. I'm not a master by any means, but I can make a video look pretty seamless. I purposely do not want to do that with these. I want to help inspire. If anything, at the end of the day, if my message falls on deaf ears, that's okay. But if there's somebody out there who has an idea that they want to put out to the world and they're, procrastinating for whatever reason, because you don't have a great camera, you don't have the best editing software, you don't have the gear, whatever it is, you don't need that. Just put your message out there. The rest will come as it's meant to come. And if you have a good message, it doesn't matter if it's freaking 720 or 4K Ultra HD. A message is going to resonate with the people it's meant to resonate with. Period. End of story. Like, I'm still learning that, and I preach it. So I get it. It is definitely easier said than done, but that is the cold hard facts about it, guys. You don't need that stuff to get started. And if it's meant to be, the right gear, equipment, software will fall into place as it's meant to fall into place. But if you have an idea, a creative flow, a message, a meaning, anything, just do it. Just doing it and failing is worth its weight in gold. I don't even call them failures, man. Like, I'm a trial by fire kind of guy. That's how I learn. So I have to dive in head first, hit my head on the bottom, wrinkle my neck a little bit, come up for air, gasp, go back down, come up, and then I'll start to learn how to swim, right? Everybody's different, but that's how a lot of us function, as far as we can plan all day in our head and we can go down just rabbit hole after rabbit hole or idea after idea. But until we put it into reality, you don't know what form it's actually going to take once it starts going on its own. So, yeah, a big part of this, podcast, all my videos, from my YouTube to any of my social medias, I've said that I just am hopefully going to inspire people just like me to just do it. Just do whatever you authentically want to do and have fun doing it. All right, guys. Boom. That's in the books and wrapped up. Let's get going on my story. Man, where to begin? What do we got for time here? All right. My story. Well, like you guys have learned, I grew up in a small mining town in Nevada, Battle Mountain, Nevada. It is, I guess kind of northern Nevada for anyone trying to locate it geologically. And yeah, I had a pretty great childhood as far as what people would call blue collar, the traditional American. My dad was a miner. He made pretty good money. We were not rich by any means, but he made decent money. A little bit later on into my childhood, my mom became a medical assistant. So, as both of them were working, it was pretty cool. But I've had a lot of weird things happen in my life, guys. And so with this my story thing, sorry, I don't want to get too derailed here, but I'm going to, talk about my story, and then I'm just going to kind of point out weird little memories or instances that kind of happened that didn't really make sense to me along the way. But now that I've had all of my clarity and my messages and all the experiences I've had with life and psychedelics, and really just the last 3-4 years compacted into what has become me, or ultimately been becoming me my whole existence, and I've really embodied these last few years. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of point out some weird little things that I didn't even make sense of until recently. So yeah, that being said, a weird little thing happened. As like, so the day I was being born, there was three of us being born at the same time, like literally within hours of each other, and we were all from the same town. Me and another one of the kids actually were super good friends childhood up until like fifth grade. Maybe we'll get into some of that later, but that's just a weird coincidence of itself. And here's another thing with coincidences, guys. I don't believe in them. um, I know that's like kind of a cliche saying, like, oh, there are no coincidences. Well, I've always said that. I never really believed it until recently. It is like, and now it's become such a part of how I operate and what I do, that now I see coincidences are literally just, they're markers, they're moments in our past or our very relative present that are keynote reminders from our future or our higher selves to say, like, hey, pay attention to this right here. It's got more meaning than you think, tied to other situations, right? Sorry if there's an echo, guys. I'm trying to, like I said, get all this figured out, the audio and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of what I like, how I've fallen into. I don't believe there's coincidences. So yeah, that's just a weird little note in and of itself. So, February, the late 80s, 1989, three kids all being born from the same town right there. Super odd. So, one of my earliest memories I have, and even my mom used to like, it was one of her little party favorites, right? Like, she loved telling people about it because it was super odd and weird that a kid would say this, but I was probably 2 years old, 3 years old, just learning how to, maybe four. I was real young. It was when sentences are first being formed more than just words, right? You're putting together 6, 7, 8 word sentences and questions and curiosity and stuff. So, anyways, I just started to tell my mom what it was like in her womb. And she was like, kind of taken back, like, what are you talking about? And I was just, describing the womb, how tight the space was and how dark, and how the red, almost, I didn't say transparent then, I don't remember what word I used, but like the red see-through, and I could see shadow figures and stuff on the outside, and it was just an odd description, right? So yeah, fast forward a little bit. Well, I guess maybe not fast forward. So I am the youngest of four children. Um, I got two older brothers and an older sister that are 12, 11, and 9 years older than me. So I am the accident, or the baby, as the parents would like to call it. So yeah, I had a lot of time being raised by my older siblings, basically. Parents working, going out, doing this and that. I was with my siblings a lot of the time. So that is another, we're a product of our environment. That is a big part of who I am today, because I spent so much time with these teenagers, older kids than me, my siblings. So yeah, very early on, I got into skateboarding. I think I got my first skateboard from my brothers when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Um, so even though I don't still skate to this day, I love skateboarding. It's like in my DNA. I don't know. What else? You know, the variety of music, because my sister was a, hip hop, R&B, um, but yeah, like new on the radio pop kind of person, and my brothers were metalheads, man, like Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, you name it, they were on it. But they also listened to, I guess, all the grunge stuff too: Nirvana, Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers, just that whole category. So, and then my parents, still were my parents, going to and from places. Uh, you had the oldies, man. Didn't matter what it was, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, some of the hair bands, a lot of the oldie stuff. So just this wide variety of music. And I think music plays a big part in our like our mindset, our upbringing, kind of our personality almost. That's why certain music can, put you in a good vibe or bring back a memory from back in the day, or it can literally, yeah, like start to make you cry or upset. Sorry for those of you seeing my hair blow, the heater kicked on here. So yeah, uh, I think music is a huge part in our existence. Period. You'll kind of come to understand my metaphysics as we go on, but sound, vibration, frequency. I'm a Reiki master teacher, so energy healing is probably my biggest passion in the world, next to talking. Hence why doing that, doing this, right? Here we are. Um, so yeah, that music, them being raised by them a lot. So yeah, let's get back on track here. Told you, ADD. Hopefully you guys can stick with me. I love you guys, whoever's still here. So, anyways, about 6 years old, we move from just one house, same town, just from one house over to the other. But that move was kind of like a big part in my life, as far as like, I almost literally, it was the year I was starting kindergarten, but it was also kind of the year that, when I look back at it, was like I guess the year I kind of, I don't know, woke up, maybe consciousness comes to. It was like the year where I really just became a curious little motherfucker. Let's put it that way. So, just from friends, just figuring out different friends, to I was being in Nevada, desert everywhere. So literally at that age, I was starting to run around all over in the desert behind my house. No parents, so I'm gaining a lot of independence at this time. So yeah, it was just kind of like the year that, yeah, I kind of, whoa. So a lot of memorable shit, I guess, in my life that time, as far as I can literally remember, like all of my kindergarten year, the shit that we learned and taught, like the scooter rides, how much milk cost, like who my friends were, the shit we did. Not saying any of it's of importance, but I can just remember it like it was yesterday. So it was a big part in my life looking back. So, anyways, yeah, being raised by those siblings, one of those things that did to me around that age, that was the time when they were in high school now. So they were doing high school kid shit. They're, starting to dabble with drugs and alcohol and different rebellious acts against parents, I guess. And I seen a lot of that. I went to freaking some of the craziest parties. And when I'm telling you guys, like, rockers, like butt rockers in the 90s, man, like they were not like these kids out there partying today. I'm talking like leather jackets, spikes, chains, long hair, freaking combat boots, dripping LSD in their eyelids, freaking smoking meth, having my brother draw pictures that would take up an entire freaking wall with a strobe light. And like, they were doing some of the craziest shit, right? And I was just witnessing all this as a kid, like this world. And then my parents are just so straight edge, just awesome, respectable people of the community. I was born into the LDS church, no longer claim that or am a part of that. We'll get into all that. So anyone out there, oh, sorry guys, curious as far as the religion aspect of it goes, yeah, we got a whole episode or series of episodes on that. But yeah, my parents are just the opposite of that. Is they like to have fun, but they're drink here or there occasionally. That's it. Don't smoke, no drugs. um Definitely, how do I say this, preached and showed us in the house how to, like, be a just loving, functional member of society. So the exact opposite of what I was seeing, the debauchery as far as high school kids go, right? I'm a young kid, so I hadn't quite put together that this is just like life and how it goes and what kids do. And yeah, I was just seeing two different worlds at this point. So fast forward to fourth grade, whatever age that is, I'm 9, 10 ish, 11 maybe. And I think 10 because I was kind of a young kid for my class. So, anyways, this was the first time when my brothers got me stoned, had me smoking some of the wacky tobacco. And I'm not saying that to brag, like, oh, I smoked weed in the fourth grade. Oh, I'm cooler. No, I'm just saying that as far as, and I don't mean it was just like a one and done. No, since I spent a lot of time with them, this was like a regular thing. So, um, I was experiencing, substances on a still forming adolescent mind, which caused, I mean, just a ton of shit that I'm still dealing with today. That being said, it did a lot of cool shit as far as that was also the same year Dare started in school. And it allowed me to see right away at such a young age there was an agenda out there. I don't know if this agenda was purposeful or, unintentional, just people doing their jobs and not knowing the data, misconstruing the data purposely to confuse kids, what the agenda was. But I could see there was an agenda at foot when I look back at it now, because everything they were talking and saying about marijuana was not true. And I was literally experiencing this. I wasn't saying it, I was smart enough. Obviously, my brothers had raised me, snitches get stitches. No, but for real, like, you don't say anything we do, mom and dad, nobody knows, blah, 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 that whole spiel. I was very good at keeping secrets. So I was just witnessing like this officer explaining a whole bunch of facts about this stuff that I knew was not true, right? So I didn't immediately, like call him a liar, but I knew that obviously what else on that board of substances was he showing us that was not like what he said. So that led me down, I guess, the path that I'm on today as far as like curiosity and questioning and, you know, always looking for the truth no matter where it actually hides. And that doesn't mean cynicism. That doesn't mean I just automatically think everything is a lie or a conspiracy. No, it's actually the opposite as far as like even conspiracies, as fun as they can be, when to stop or when, okay, if it's a conspiracy, you don't even need to look at it anymore. So yeah, it didn't create that. It literally just created this very curious mind as far as what else are they lying about or what else do they not know about. Because here's the thing, I was looking at then, I couldn't describe it in these words by any means, but looking back at it now, I was intuitive enough to notice that um maybe not everything was a lie. Maybe some people were honestly doing what they thought was real, but because they had never experienced it themselves or because they didn't know, um, they just had to read off of this paper. So they didn't actually know from experience. And as a youngster, I kind of like put this together as far as like who's just telling a story and who is the story about, kind of thing, like who's actually done it and is writing the stories and who's just reading the stories of other people, right? So i I had that I guess curious mindset at an early age, right? Seeing my position now and what I believe in. And a little side note, hopefully I don't derail you guys too much. This podcast was almost called the Shamanic Revival, because the Shamanic Revival is a message I believe in a lot. I have a Instagram, Shamanic Revival. By the way, guys, if you want to check out some of my pages, I'll link them in the description below. Just all over, get to know me here or there. That being said, the Shamanic Revival is a message I really stand behind, and we're going to have a series of episodes. But I figured that's what I wanted it to be, just a series of episodes to try and enlighten or inform or theorize on what I think is coming or is here, whatever you want to look at it as, and just to put forth a new way of operating in this new earth or this new society that's coming. So yeah, that being said, as an energy healer, I've kind of always just my own little thing. I consider myself a modern day shaman, right? And I consider my upbringing as far as substances and walking the path between this dimension and the next, the other realms, the experiences I had early on that now lead to this. Um, I see that that is, as odd as it sounds, that's how you can apprentice a shaman in today's society and get around the legalities. Because as far as what some of those tribes do to children at a young age would definitely not be accepted in our society today. So could you raise an American shaman? Yes. And how is it done? I think my path is one of the paths that kind of gets you there. So back on track here. Yeah, the shamanic revival, guys. We're gonna do some stuff on that. So that being said, a couple little side notes that I told you guys I was gonna mention that we are just gonna come back to, leading to why I'm here today, that I didn't make sense of then. When I was younger and in these ages of 6, when we moved over to that house, so I was like coming alive, to the time we really moved up to Washington when I was 15. So that 9-year gap of my life, 9-10 year gap, I had so many wild experiences as far as like what people would call lucid dreaming, astral projection, out of body experiences, so vivid, so real that I still call my mom like a liar today. As far as there was a one that we had where I floated up and I got stuck on the ceiling fan. The back of my shirt was stuck on the ceiling fan, and my mom, I had to call her out, and she had to come and get me down with the broom. She got me down with the broom, and this memory is it doesn't feel like a dream memory when I say it. Like, it feels real, as real as I am right now. When I say I drank a coffee yesterday, that's what that memory feels like to me. Even, and I used to say it all the time when I was little to my mom, that she would always make a joke, right? Like she thought I was dreaming. And here's the thing, maybe I was out of body experience. We'll get into all that stuff, but I had those a lot in that time frame. Like I would have several dreams of where something would keep me trapped under the blankets. It would be pulling the corners, and I couldn't see what it was, but something would be pulling the corners of the blankets, keeping me trapped. And I would be yelling and moving, and I couldn't get up. And finally it would let up, and it was like I would slam back into my body, and I would wake up, and it was like this weird state of when you're leaving the dream world and trying to come back into awake state, and the in between there, I would come conscious a lot of times in between that, and it's almost like wrestling the body to get back in, right? So sorry for talking with my hands, guys. It's just something I do. We're gonna have to deal with it. So yeah, had a lot of those, and we'll get into some cool ones I had like as time goes on. But the important thing is to remember that I had just so many. I could go on for days and days and days. I have a super weird memory as far as like I can remember everything in my life. It's fucking strange to me even. So and I'm almost 36 years old. So I mean, I don't know if that's common with you guys, let me know down in the comments below. Because like to me, sometimes it's like why, especially when I see people like forget what we talked about like last week or something, and I'm like, bro, I can like remember my conversations with my friend I had in second grade. Anyways, side note. So yeah, fast forward a little bit more. So this, kind of shamanic upbringing, like I was seeing through deception or bullshit at a super early age, man. And that's also around the time when my family quit going to church. They still called themselves LDS, and my parents, still said they were Mormon and like preached love in the family, but we didn't go to church anymore. So, um, yeah, fast forward a little bit to seventh grade now. So I'm 11, 12 years old. Well, seventh grade, it was 2001. So 12 years old. So this was like another big marker in my life as far as not only was it 9/11, which is a very memorable moment for a lot of you out there, who remember witnessing that day. But that day was like also another big awakening for me as far as I remember it so freaking crystal clear. So waking up that morning, I didn't want to go to school. I was fucking just playing one of those hooky days, did not want to go to school at all. So I made my mom, I faked sick, made my mom call in, we're gonna be freaking sick. And so, anyways, I'm like feeling all cool there that I just got my way and not going to school. And I'm sitting on my mom's bed, and obviously, you know what happens. And it was like the craziest thing to like watch, even as like a 12-year-old. It was like insane to watch. And then thinking like after talking to my friends, like they all like the school watched it and they all got let home. So I didn't even need to fake sick after all. I would have just got to go home. But that being said, as we're watching this unfold, I couldn't tell you why, but even my mom, again, we still wonder why these things happened when they did. Coincidences, messages, you'll see. It's just like my whole life is a weird series of fucking events, man. So, anyways, we're watching this, and I look over and ask my mom, and I say, Mom, how come, because as a 12-year-old up to this point, I had witnessed a few things. We didn't have, I mean, obviously we had the internet, but, it was fucking nothing like it is right now. So nobody really surfed that shit unless you were like probably some Gary V fucking business owner or some shit back then. Anyways, um, so as a 12-year-old kid, you would still see some, even if you didn't watch the news, because there wasn't a whole lot of forms of fucking media. You had like the news and newspaper. Um, you would still see or hear events and timelines. So, I remember the Bush Clinton election, and then I remember the fucking Clinton scandal, and I remember all the fucking um, you know, talks about fucking oil and war in Iran and fucking missiles all through the 90s. And then um, the fucking George Bush, Al Gore fucking debacle that started this whole president. If nobody fucking remembers, that was like one of the first big like debates like we've been having ever since then, as far as like Bush, Gore, oh, Obama, fucking Bush, oh, Obama, Trump, and the elections being so close and recounts and this and that. That shit started, well, maybe it didn't start it, but it really started to fucking play a role in the fucking Bush, Al Gore bullshit there. So, anyways, um, yeah, I'd seen different things, right? And how that fucking played out and this and that. So, um, I asked my mom right then and there. I was like, "Mom, how come every time, uh, like America seems like it's crazy, like it doesn't like the government, like things are in shambles and it's all chaotic. How come every time that happens, something crazy like this happens to where the government has to come in and pick up the pieces and get the people back on its side?" And she's like, I don't know, but that does seem to happen, huh? And I'm like, yeah, like again, too coincidentally. So, it was just like a marker in my life of like, man, I was really like, even without knowing it, I was just cutting through the bullshit. As far as, I'm not saying 9/11 was fucking fake conspiracy, inside job, this, that. You guys go, there's so much shit out there. Go fucking watch it and make up your own mind. All I'm saying is, I learned early on that there is always fucking multiple agendas behind everything. Like, even the guy who thinks he's fucking running shit in any situation has people below him, and then all those people below him don't give a fuck what the guy up above is thinking. They got their own agendas. They're just using that resources to get it. And it's a shit show in between when everyone's got their own agendas and being fucking sneaky, right? It's just the way it is. You can't not have a shit show when you have a bunch of sneaky fucking agendas, and the sneakiness is the simple fact of they nobody's really working together. They all got their own fucking agendas, and they fake as fuck trying to pretend like they are all alike. The only thing they're alike is they're all fucking snakes. So you can't trust anybody doing that shit. Another big part of this fucking podcast to help inspire, invigorate that fire from within to just everyone in their own position, in their own life, in their own tribe, to be that light, to shine the light on bullshit and get the fucking snakes out of the grass. Cat Williams said it a few months back, man. We're in the fucking, like, the days of truth. Truth is fucking coming out, and it's a beautiful thing, and all avenues and venues and paths in life. Fucking truth is coming out, and it's a beautiful thing to see. So, so yeah, back to the story. And I'm seeing now, guys, I'm getting up there on time, which I know this is going to be for, hopefully you guys like long form podcasts, because my episodes are going to run into the 2, 3, 4 hour mark sometimes. That being said, I might try and break them into multiple parts so I don't hit you with more than an hour at a time. We'll see. We'll see what's up. Um, but yeah, that being said, fourth grade, 11, 12, another big aha moment in my life. So yeah, fast forward a little bit into junior high, right as before we move up to Washington, that 14, 15 area. Now I start slowly getting into a little bit of trouble with the shit I'm doing. Still just skateboarding and smoking weed, but now I'm like, I have friends at this point who are, experimenting with crystal meth, and we'll get on this whole crystal meth thing like later sometime, but like, it's the one thing I can gladly say I've never even tried, like, at all. Had the curiosity to try, even though I've been in the room with it, which is like a weird fucking thing. But out of all the shit the dare guy did, like, the meth one worked, and we'll talk about that later. But the meth one scared the fuck out of me. So yeah, like, I had friends like experimenting with that and shit. Never curiosity. I'd drink a little bit here and there, but yeah, it was just like a skateboarding and weed fucking dude. But it started to get me in a little bit of trouble as far as my eighth grade year. The last year, that was the last year I did in Nevada before moving up to, the Pacific Northwest, where I still reside today. And yeah, so that story, it was crazy. So how do I guess try to think about? So yeah, two big things happened, kind of helped again lead to my shit. Things I didn't understand then that will tie together now when we get to the, the 30s of my life. So that being said, in the middle of my eighth grade year, I got in trouble for bringing a pipe to school. So me and my buddies were all hanging out. One of my friends, one time, he had an older brother. We were digging through his shit and had this cool little like ceramic pipe he had made. And I was like, oh, this is fucking cool, dude. He's like, oh, take it. My brother probably won't even notice. So I fucking take it, got it in my coat pocket. Wasn't even thinking about it. Next day at school, I'm fucking putting my hands in my coat pocket. I'm like, oh shit, I got that thing there. Well, one of my other buddies, Richie, that, yeah, fuck it. Maybe I won't use names. Yeah, so I'll just use like abbreviated names. So yeah, Richie. I'm like, oh, Richie, look at this fucking pipe, blah, blah, blah. Like at lunch, let's go fucking burn a bowl. So he's looking at it like it's a fucking ancient artifact. And just then, one of the teachers comes out of the back door, and we're in the basketball courts on the fucking backside of the school right there. And, anyways, he immediately freaking drops it and hands it to me. So I don't even have time to put it in my pocket. I just grab it and like slide it into my coat sleeve like that because it kind of had little scrunchy sleeves just like that. Slid it up into there. Teacher comes out, 8th grade math teacher. I don't know if I can use names and stuff, so I'm just not going to. But if I need to, maybe in the description. But yeah, I remember all these names. It's crazy. So, anyways, 8th grade math teacher. What was that? And we're like, oh, nothing. He was like, no, I seen him just pass you something. What was that? And my other buddy, Lou, luckily, for some reason or another, he had $100 bill. That's what his parents gave him that day for lunch. He was a spoiled little shit, only child. A lot of cool shit like came through him. I had a lot of fun like with him as my best friend. We'll just put it that way. That being said, they left him $100. So he pulls this $100 bill out and he's like, oh, it was just this. And Mr. Sandrew was like, oh shit, there we go. I just used the name. Damn it. Anyways, he's like, I don't know if that's it or not, but you boys walk with me to the principal's office. So he makes us walk in front of him. So I can't ditch this thing anywhere. He's freaking behind us. He gets us into the principal's office and he explains to her that he just seen us passing something around, blah, blah, blah. Said it's this $100 bill. I don't believe him. So she's like, well, is that true, boys? And we're like, yeah, that's all it was. And she's like, well, take off your coats because it was, wintertime or going into springtime-ish. So we pop off our coats and that fucking pipe falls and lands directly on the floor in front of me and no one's seen it. No one in the room seen it at all. Not even my friends. So I fucking kicked that fucking thing under the principal's desk. And we take off our coats. She pats us down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I guess that must have been it. You guys are good. Go back to class. So we go back to class. This is after lunch now, and I think we had 2 or 3 periods after lunch. I can't remember if we did a 7-period day or 6-period day. But either way, get to the last period of the day, man. I'm like literally watching that clock like a fucking eagle, just like, oh, come on, 5 minutes left, fucking 4 minutes left, 3 minutes. And I shit you not, dude, like 1 minute before the bell rings, an officer comes into our class. We even had the trailer outside the fucking schoolhouse. It was like where our English class was, my last period of the day. Officer comes in. Oh, Ryan Rogers, can you come down to the office with me? I'm like, oh, you gotta be shitting me, dude. So anyways, we're walking down there. As we're walking down there, the bell rings. So like classes, like the halls are filling up with kids watching this officer walk me down to the fucking principal's office. And yeah, we get in there, and as we walk into the office, the principal's office is like 20 feet down. Oh, sorry, guys, there's my red light. We'll have to hit that sometime. My red light therapy. Pretty sick. Anyways, principal's office is like 20 feet down, and we walk in, and I was a fucking dummy. I shouldn't have done this. This is where I learn along the way, right? I glance with my eyes over like that. And I see that fucking thing still sitting on the floor under her desk all the way back there. And he goes, you know why I brought you in here? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, I just seen you look at it. And I'm like, fuck. Right, he got me. So he arrests me right there. I get arrested in front of all my classmates. Junior high, like literally walked down the hall out in front of the building into his cop car in front of all my fucking classmates. So like just this whole big learning embarrassment lesson, right? So my parents are parents that are going to make me learn a lesson. They weren't paying the fine, but as a kid, I didn't have to go to jail. It wasn't even bad enough for juvenile hall. It was a paraphernalia charge. So it was either pay the fine or work crew. The dudes picking up trash and shit along the side of the highway. So my parents had me do work crew. It was like fucking something stupid. I don't know, like 500 hours or something. Pretty much my whole summer was going to be doing work crew already. And I think we even did it on the weekends, actually, weekends leading into summer. But anyways, then another big thing happened right as we're getting ready to move is the last day of eighth grade graduation that night, right? Well, that day of school, the eighth graders, kind of just had a fuck off day. We weren't even on campus. We were like a couple hundred yards away from the school over at this park doing like a big barbecue get together. Yeah, shindig last day of eighth grade. Anyways, me and a group of my buddies, there was the twins, Daniel, Wade, yeah, think about me. So like five or six of us. Anyways, we ditch this thing. We leave. We go. We get a one of my buddies popped a bottle of Presidente, some shitty tequila, um, from his parents, and we went under the freeway, like in Nevada, probably in a lot of places, but in Nevada, underneath the freeway, there's what we call dikes. These fucking tunnels that go underneath both sides of the freeway, like fucking rainwater overflows and shit, right? You get it. So, anyways, you could go fucking homeless people would fucking live in there and party there, whatever. So, anyways, we're fucking hanging out under there and we're doing eighth grade dumb shit and drinking this bottle. Well, we all get done doing our thing, and me and one of my buddies are walking back to town. It's probably, I don't know, a mile, 1.5 miles back to the park where everybody's hanging out. We're gonna go walk back and try and play it off like we're not fucking drunk eighth graders and go back and mingle with the school kids. A couple of our other buddies had four-wheelers that they had ridden out there. Well, we start walking back, and before we could even get all the way back, we hear sirens, ambulances, cops, you name it, going like crazy. We're like, whoa, dude, that's fucking crazy. Obviously, being two drunk eighth graders, we're like, fucking, what the hell's going on? Well, as we start to get back towards the park, like it gets in sight, we see that like nobody's really there. Like everybody's like kind of leaving and driving over to the hospital area, which is just like another block over how the town's located, like diagonal-ish, 2 blocks, whatever. And so, anyways, we're like, whoa, what the fuck, man? Like, let's go see what the hell's going on. So we're like heading that way, it's going a little further. And as we get there, friends are running up to us and they're like, what the hell did you guys do? What are you guys doing? Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, whoa, what's going on? We don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, we were just fucking drank some booze with you know who, you know who, you know who. And now we're walking here. What the hell is going on? And they're like, you know who and you know who are almost dead. So two of the dudes that we were just with, one of them is being care flighted to Reno or something like that from like alcohol poisoning, and the other one is like fucked up because, anyways, they wrecked their four-wheeler, and as they wrecked, fucking one of them really fucked up his head. The other one was just fucking unconscious as fuck from alcohol, and so they're both like critical and almost like dead. It was crazy, right? We like this is like in the whatever it takes a drunk eighth grader to walk fucking 15-20 minutes, maybe 30 if we were really lost and stumbling, like that all happened. So we're like, whoa, what the hell, like this is fucking nuts, like really. And my mom, like I said, later on in my life worked as the medical assistant. Well, she worked at that hospital, and as this is all happening, she finds me in the crowd of people and she fucking brings an officer with her and she's like, breathalyze him. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, breathalyze him now. And he's like, well, if he has anything on his breath, we're going to have to like charge him, arrest him, or go through the fucking process, right? And she's like, yep, sure as shit, breathalyze me, sure as shit, I fell it. And so now I get an MIP, and again, parents not gonna pay this, so work crew, fucking another goddamn, I don't know, 10,000 hours. No, I don't really know what it was, but it was basically I was gonna be fucking on work crew forever. So much so that like even when I went to leave and move, the guy that would have been, I wasn't on probation, but the probation officer who was in charge of the work crew unit, he was like, dude, basically, like, if you fucking promise me your little ass is not moving back to this town, we'll drop this shit and you'll be good. But if you fucking come back here, like, you're gonna be doing work crew until you're fucking dead. right? Or fucking legal age, at least. So, anyways, I'm like, cool, that's awesome. And I got out of some of it a little early and shit. So, and it was cool. And he really did drop it because it didn't affect me getting my driver's license, none of that shit. I got it all on time, even though I thought I wasn't. So, it was cool as fuck. But that whole run in with the law and seeing all the shit that I seen, because those were like the two major ones, but all throughout my junior high career, or all life really, but junior high mainly, when it really started to like fucking wear in, was like how much I was getting stereotyped and just picked out of the crowd from different people or the police in town, from either skateboarding or my siblings, like past reputation, just different things. Like, I'm not going to play the victim by any means, because again, I feel like I'm pretty badass and it forged that. So, that being said, I wouldn't change a thing. But man, when I say like I experienced like a level of like discrimination and stereotype that a lot of, minorities talk about experiencing, like I fucking experienced that shit from those. Like our town literally had a uh, Native American reservation in it, and some of my best friends were Native American. But there's a lot of the Native Americans that didn't care too much for the white people. Rightfully so, did some crazy shit, right? Um, we didn't, but past. That being said, there's a lot of resentment still to this day from some people. So the fucking coin goes both ways, man. I was, let's put it this way, I was the minority in the town I grew up in. Now that I put it that way, I was my only white friend. I had friends who were half white, half Hispanic, or Native American, or Basque, or whatever, but I was like legitimately my only full white friend, man. So yeah, I mean, there might have been a couple kids, right? But white people were definitely, probably, as far as like, and I don't mean just like, yeah, skin color, European nationality, whatever, the minority in that area. A lot of different uh, ethnic cultural backgrounds in mining in northern Nevada there. So it was an awesome way to grow up. Like I said, I wouldn't change it for the world. I loved it. But I experienced a lot of that shit, right? And it helped get me to this point, helped create who I am today and why I am the way I am. I guess like why I have so much fucking love for everyone. I don't care, big, tall, short, black, white, fucking purple, green, you name it. I fucking love it. And I think it came from my trials and pressures of just seeing this wide spectrum growing up, right? So yeah, guys. Let me see. We're getting up. Let me see what we're actually working on time. Almost at an hour, so I might go a few more minutes and then wrap this up, and we'll continue with the part two of my story. But right now we're in 8th grade. So and the summer between 8th and 9th grade. So moving up to the Pacific Northwest. 15 years old. This is a big, huge part of my life. Not only did I, like I said, just experience all that shit down there. And so another thing to make note of, guys, like when I say I developed a lot of independence, like early on. So my mom always worked, at either like a craft store or a grocery store or whatever, and my dad worked as well. So I went from like siblings to then, as soon as my siblings were gone out of the house at what, like, I'd be 10, yeah, like 10, 9, 10, 11-ish, as they were all leaving. Um, I was like alone, like a lot of the time, like, or at friends' houses or something. So like I spent a fuck ton of time like alone doing shit and figuring shit out and feeding myself and like you name it, man. Like by 13 years old, you could have dropped me off on fucking Mars and I would have survived. Period. End of story. Like I was a fucking savage. But yeah, so I experiencing all that shit that I did and the independence and blah blah blah. moving up to Washington, 15 years old, it was another big thing. Like one moving, like just geographically, geologically, or whatever you want to fucking say, however you say that, it was night and day difference. It went from desert, our state flower was the fucking sagebrush or state tree, whatever it is. Like, literally, I didn't see trees like tall standing like here ever in my life. Like that was like in books or like the rainforest or something. Where now I live, obviously you guys know the Pacific Northwest. I live up by the Canadian border, north of fucking Spokane. So I mean, I'm like embedded in the trees, man. And that was such a culture shock to begin with. Like, I hated it. I hated it. I didn't want to move up here. I fucking fuck your trees. I want to go back to the sagebrush. Let me live with my sister. Let me do anything. It was a big thing, like, I didn't want to do, right? My parents were not having it. I was coming, and that was that. But it was, like I said, and I'm glad they did, because it was cool. It, like, in that my teen angst, right? That's why, and that is also the time when I like joined a band. So imagine that, the scene, emo kid, teen angst, not wanting to move, just fucking perfect, right? Perfect timing when you look back at it universally. um so yeah, that experience was cool. We're gonna get into some awesome things, but to make note, like, that summer before starting school and we moved here to Washington, I had another crazy out of body experience. And this one, like, still one of the, I have, I've done it a fuck ton of times. Not always purposely, a lot of times accidentally, or it just happened. But some of the times are like keynote memorable. And this one was like that. And I don't know why. Again, maybe just to wake my ass up to the fact that this shit's real and exists, and pay attention, because it's going to play a role in your life like it is now. But anyways, I was sleeping there on the couch, or and I thought I woke up, and I was watching. Before I fell asleep, my dad was sitting on the other couch, and he was playing like the Direct TV fucking golf game that was on like the TV. It was like a fucking extra little thing you could pay for and play, back in 2004. So he's playing this fucking golf game on the TV. I fall asleep. I wake up. He's still sitting there playing this fucking golf game. I'm like, okay. Coming down the fucking hallway, I see this weird black, almost witch like figure coming at me. And I look at my dad and I try and yell, and he doesn't hear me. And this thing grabs me. It slams me against the ceiling, slams me against the couch. And our couch had a fucking hard wooden arm part, and my head hit that fucking wooden part. It fucking hurt. Slammed me again, so it did it twice. Roof, couch. And the second time it did the couch, and I fucking I hit my head both times, same fucking time. Bam, bam. Second time I did, it really woke me up as I was falling off the couch. I really wake up and I'm falling off the couch, and my dad's looking at me going like, the fuck are you doing? And my head hurts. Oh, god damn, does my head hurt? Like, it just hit the arm of the couch, right? And I'm like, what the hell? Did you just see something like pick me up and slam me and shit? And he was like, no, you just rolled off the couch. And I'm like, whoa, dude, that was the weirdest thing. Because when I say it wasn't like a dream, like, it felt real. For any of you who've done psychedelics out there, we're going to get into this whole out of body thing here. And like, I'm super excited for it. That being said, out of body experiences, astral projection, they are as real as your psychedelic experience. They feel realer than that. So those of you who've done psychedelics and you're like, oh man, it's like, I can't explain it, but it's realer than real. That's what astral projection and fucking out of body experiences are like. So there is some validity to whatever the fuck is happening there in that dimension, that realm, that plane, that state of consciousness, whatever it is. There is some legitimate shit going on that we need to like look at and explore and understand. So yeah, that was like a huge one that happened, and never really made sense of it until, like I said, recently. So yeah, I think that's a good place to stop, guys. I'm going to hit you with part 2. We're going to pick back up. So now we're getting ready to start my 9th grade year. where yeah, I like join a band, a rock band. I become a singer. It's fucking super cool. High school starts getting super fucking interesting. So hopefully you've stuck around this long. If so, I'm so fucking grateful, man. If not, I understand it too. I get it. Move on, do your thing. But if you enjoy anything you're getting out of this, guys, please share it. Please like it. Please comment below. Let me know more what you want to hear, what you have to say. I'll love to get down on it with you. And yeah, until next time, guys, I love you and have a good day. Peace.